Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll continue that. We'll continue that tomorrow, as Hashem. All right. What did we get up to? Pay dollar on the base, right? Do we start the two dots? No, right? Of the two dots, pay dollar on the base, correct?
That's where we left it, yeah.
Kohanim Leviim, right?
Yeah, okay. So kohanim Leviim nenenli yitlu. So he said at the end of the Mishna, there were two cases. One, he says he's making a neder against kohanim and Leviim, getting hanah from him. So then they're allowed to take it. They're allowed to take it because it doesn't belong to him, it belongs to them. It belongs to kohanim and Leviim. But if he says these specific kohanim and Leviim cannot have my trumas and maaseh, and those two specific ones can't have it, but the other ones, any other kind of Levi can come along and have it, right?
Is there hanah in one chita?
Is there hanah in one chita?
He's yoytze the mitzvah. He had one chita. I give Rachman one chita of wheat. That's it. Stay away from my field. You got one chita, you're good. And if I'm a sport, I'll give one haran also. Two chitas for two kohanim.
Right, you're a generous fellow.
Yeah.
Boy, so, Reb Aaron, you don't overdo it there. You know what I mean? It's been about Tyson already, you know?
Lamaisa, is it less than a shav? Does it have to be more than a shav pruta?
It has to be a chita.
I'm saying, but does kahuna, does it have to be a shav?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'd assume, yeah. I would assume, yeah. Otherwise, it's not a nesino. There's got to be a hanah.
Well, the price went down on wheat. It's a chita achas, and it's not worth a pruta.
Oh, if it went down after they gave it, I don't know what would be the case. Yeah, I hear. I don't know.
Okay, I mean
in that case.
I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do Gemara's putting it together kind and later you have to give 10%. So that's a big number. So the kind I get away with one chita.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But but I guess it's putting it together. That's I'm assuming it's a shava pruta. And then it's going to stay a shava. If it loses the shava pruta, then I don't know. So either way, so what the Gemara is again, the problem, we have a stira again in the Mishna. Right? Just like the previous Gemara, we had a stira from one line to the other line. So here too, we have a stira from one line to the other line. Why? Because if Alma, when it says when the Mishnah says that there's the Takayan and the Leviim, they're allowed to take it. So Alma tovas hanah einay mamon. You see that the tovas hanah, right? We discussed it yesterday. Tovas hanah is pshat that even though the trumas and maaseh belong to the kohanim and Leviim, but the owner has a right to give it to whichever kohen and Levi he wants, and he's even allowed to get a kickback, a small kickback. He's even allowed to get, right? So if that's the case, and then some sort of hanah, if by him not taking a kickback and just giving it to any kohen and Levi that comes along, so he's actually giving them benefit. So, right? So how can we let him, if there's such a thing as tovas hanah from trumas and maaseh, so how can we let kohanim and Leviim come take the truma when he made a neder against them? That means he's giving them something, right? So alma tovas hanah einay mamon. From the first case, it's mashma that tovas hanah is not money, so it's nothing. It's not tangible. It's not tangible, so therefore it's not a problem for the kohanim and Leviim to come take it. Because tovas hanah is not considered money. It's not considered money. There is something to tovas hanah, but it's not considered money. And therefore they can benefit from it. Right? But the problem is the seifa, ema seifa, kohanim elu, Leviim elu nenen li. Right? If he made a neder that these kohanim and these Leviim, they're not, the sentence means they're going to be nene from me, but meaning he makes a neder against them being nene from him, yitlu acherim, so other kohanim and Leviim could take it. Avalahani loy, but these guys can't. Alma tovas hanah mamon. That so you see that tovas hanah is mamon, meaning when he said that these specific kohanim can't take his trumas and meiser or can't benefit from him, why? So then why can't they take it anyways? If tovas hanah is not money, why can't they take it? Right? If tovas hanah is not money, so why can't they take it? They're not taking anything. The trumas and meiser don't belong to him. It just happens to be it started off in his property. So we have a kasha from the first line in the Mishnah, whatever that's not, it's the end of the Mishnah, but the first line to the second line. But again, the first line's mashma that there's no benefit, there's no money, there's no benefit involved, so therefore any kohen or Levi could take it. The next line says that the kohen or Levi he makes the neder against can't take it. Why can't they take it? It's not. It belongs. It belongs
a mitzvah of frosher?
What?
Is there a mitzvah of frosher? Is you have to be actually mafresh, then give it to Kohen. Can't go ahead and be mezaka you to be mafresh your trumah. They say, okay, here I am. I'm taking what's mine. It's not. You have to do. It's tevel until the balabas is mafresh it. Once he's mafresh it, he says, okay, now this has a shame truma on it. This has a shame meiser rishon, and the rest of it meiser shame, whatever it is, and then the rest of it becomes chulin. But he has to do the hafrosha. Somebody else can come and do the hafrosha for him.
So first of all, who says that the hafrosha wasn't done? I'm not. Why are you assuming that the hafrosha wasn't done? That's A. B. That's going to be coming up. That's going to be coming up again. We're gonna let's wait for the next for the Amid Aleph and we'll see, right?
Okay.
But I understood the Mishnah that he did the hafrosha. Now they came in and took it. Either way, the stira is that from the first line in the Mishnah is mashma that tovas hanah is not worth anything. So therefore, the kohanim and the Levim could just come into his property and take the trumas and meises, right? The second line in the Mishnah sounds like it's not like that because he says the kohanim and Levim who he made a neder against can't come take it. So which way is it? So Amar Rav Hoshi, Lekasha, Harav Yes Rav Yehuda. One is Rebbe, one's Rav Yes Rav Yehuda. The Tanya Hagoynev Tivle Shachavera V'Achlo. Let's say somebody goes and steals tevel. Now tevel again, we said last night, but tevel is grain that was trumas and meises were not taken off of it. So now he steals tevel of his friend and he eats it. So now who's he paying back? Because there's trumas and meises that have to come off of that tevel, right? Trumas and meises have to come off that tevel, correct? So now who's he paying this back to? Meaning he can go to the guy. Let's say he stole the guy 100 apples from the guy. So you could say to the guy, okay, I only have to pay you 99 apples because you took off 1 apple for the kohen and 10 apples for the Levi or whatever the numbers are, right? That I don't have to pay you. That has to go to a kohen and a Levi, right? That's what the Ganav is going to say, right? So again, a kohen of tivlo shechaver va'achloi, mishalem loy demei tivlo. He has to pay the demei tevel, divrei Rebbe. That's what Rebbe holds, meaning. So the way the Ran explains it here, even though the Gemara is going to change it, is that he's paying the whole demei tevel, but not he doesn't have to pay him back taka the truma and the meiser. Didn't belong to him. He has to pay him the tovas hanah. The Ran says, right? So basically, if he stole 100 apples, he's going to have to return 89 apples plus whatever kickback the guy would get from the kohanim and Levi.
And what happens with the other 10%? He gives it to a Levi, this sweetheart of a guy? Who does?
I guess it's Hamatz Mecher El Varaya. That's the Kohanim and Levim would have to prove somehow.
But this Ghana for even the Kohen and the Levi who come and take his stuff, right? In the first case, they're costing him a lot of money because he has one son-in-law who's a Levi and one son-in-law who's a Kohen. And that's how he gets his daughter's money. He gives them the trumas and meisers, his children.
Right.
Otherwise, it costs him. Otherwise, he has to pay their bill in the grocery.
But well, I'm saying that's what the Mishnah says. The ones he made a neder against.
Saying it's more than tovas hanah.
In that case, it's more
I'm friends with Aaron and I'm friends with Rachman. So they give me $1 and I give them $50 worth of produce. So it's good for them and it's good for me. My friends got it. I made $1 back, and they have a sure source of produce. But if they're my children, then the guy is costing me very big money.
They
It's more
still
than
don't have.
tovas.
They still don't
It's
have
more
a
than
din to it.
tovas. It's more than tovas hanah.
They still don't have a din to it. When would they get that din? When he gives it to them. They only get that. They only have a din to it till before then. It's grum at
Put
best.
on your screen or don't talk to me, please. I'm serious. I don't want to talk if you don't have your screen on.
Okay, so I'll talk to Tzviakov. They don't have a din to
But
it.
I was in the middle of talking.
That's a separate point. They don't have a din to it until he gives it to them. So what's their taina?
They don't have a din until
No, I have to agree with Rabaran. We made up a long time ago. It's either video on or don't talk.
okay, whatever. Right?
We can bring Stroil back on.
When he comes back, we'll talk.
I didn't know there was
That's why
rules.
we threw him off.
Where are the rules?
All right. Anyways,
You're
well,
3 years
you,
too late, Rackham.
you can fight it out. You can fight it off. You can fight it out off screen, or backstage. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know. I hear both. I hear both tainas, meaning it's lemaisa.
When did they lose out on this moment? They lost out on this moment when he ate it. It's a grum at best that he's causing them to lose out.
That's true, but no. No. We're not talking about the guy of Tivloi here is not talking about a kohen. We're talking
I
about a
understand,
regular,
but he's
regular
stealing from
crook.
them. But at best, you're stealing from them in a grummatic way. They never got a din to it. He had to have given them the terumah for them to have a din to it, even if it's a son-in-law.
Yeah. Right.
So there was no tzvi on him.
Yeah. Okay, but the Gemara is really not dealing with what happens to the kohanim.
Gershon's very upset about something that was just said.
The Gemara.
I don't know what's going on over here. The guy stole a whole silo worth of grain. The guy just harvested it.
Correct.
So he has to pay for the grain. So part of that was Trumas and Maestris. That
Right.
he doesn't have to pay for. No one's arguing he has to pay for that. He doesn't have to pay for that. But he
Correct.
also stole something else from the guy. The guy who
tovas
owned the
hanah.
grain would have been able to give it to the person he wanted to give it to. That was stolen.
Correct.
Right, so you owe the tovas hanah for that.
That's what
That's
he's
what we're
saying.
talking about.
Right.
Right,
So
his
he
time
pays
is
him
that he
the,
should owe the other $11 that would have been Trumas and Meisters, actually, because he could have given it to his son-in-law. That was the time of Gershon.
But he didn't steal that from his son-in-law.
no. Rabban is
That's
tiny.
my kind of back.
Rabban is tiny. Even on kohanim coming to take trumas and maises, right? Even to kohanim.
That's what I
Yeah,
felt. He
I
was
was-
counting
I
on our mission.
I was mafresh my through. I like you want the Gershon want to say. I was mafresh it, and I made one wagon for my son-in-law A and one for son-in-law B, and this guy came and took both wagons and plus the rest of my silo. Because
That's not the case that we're dealing with. That's a new case.
okay, making a new
Yeah, no,
case.
that's what I was saying. That's I thought you were asking. Stam, how can a kohen? Look, can a kohen
Well, that
come take the trumas out of a guy's house or not? He didn't make any
Once
nedarim.
it's-
Stam.
Once it's hufresh,
Once it's ofrush.
technically, yeah.
Okay, so that's what Rabban is saying. It's not right. If he has sons-in-law that are kohanim, he plans on giving it to them.
So would the Kohen have to pay tovas hanah if the guy could prove that I always are? You can't prove
Yes.
something from the theoretical future. I would have
Yes.
given it to. You can't prove that.
So he admitted he stole it. Let's say he
No,
admitted
that's
he
a
stole
different-
it.
No.
There
The
are
guy, the
Gemaras-
owner, is trying to get that tovas hanah
There
that
are
I wanted
Gemaras
to give it
about
to my
this.
son-in-law.
There are Gemaras about this. I
it's
don't-
more than that case. I'm saying is Gershon is more than tovas hanah. Tovas hanah is Aaron Kaplan gives me $1 and I give him $50 worth of grapes. That's not tovas hanah. I'm giving my children food to eat. For the last 14 years, I've been giving them all my truvas and my than my children. What am I going to give it to a different kohen and Levi for? Well, I have children. I'm giving them food.
So that tovas hanah is worth more. It's still tovas
Not
hanah.
tovas hanah.
Then it
He's
would
saying
be
it's
usher
more
to
than
give
that,
it
but
to his
okay,
kids.
I don't know. There are Gemaras about this. Of course, I don't have any recollection where the Gemaras are. But there
At
are
best, it's a
Gemaras.
grumma that you caused that to happen. Who
That's
are you
true.
being
Nobody.
Tevea?
That's
I-
true.
what-
You're
what's
100%
here? Who
Akiva.
are you being Tevea this money from?
You're right, Akiva. You're
So it's a
100% right.
grumma. So go take it up in Shemayim.
Okay, could be, but could be, but it's still it could be everything in Shemai.
Let's
it
be
doesn't
clear
mean
about this.
Okay, but
If it's a grama, you don't owe anyone anything for a grama.
yeah. And a hanami, but it's
So you want to
It's
talk
not-
about Dinei Shemaim? I didn't realize we're talking about that. Fine. Dinei Shemaim, you're not a good person for causing people to go without food. Shkoyach.
okay. Well, what the question is it mutter to do that to allow them in?
Is
or
it
can we say
mutter?
no?
The guy stole. It's not mutter to steal.
No,
Mutter to
that's not in
steal.
the case of stealing. Stealing, the guy was Stama Yisrael that stole the tevel. Stama Yisrael. It wasn't nothing to do with a kohen.
So the
Can-
question
can I
is,
put it this
does
way?
the
Can
other
a
guy
kohen-
money for causing his kid not to get food?
Okay, let's look at a different angle. Can a kohen guard his trumas and maisus that he separated? Can he guard it? Can he stand there with a stick and say, "You come near this? It's for my son-in-law. Can you come near that? I'm going to beat you." Can he do that or not? I don't know. I'm pretty sure this Gemara.
He could do better than that. He could be
He give it to them.
Mazakir to him.
Yeah, he
He could
could
be
kill him.
Mazakir for him. He could be
He
Zoycha in
could
it for
do
him,
it.
for his son-in-law.
He could do that. Al Yidei Acher. He could be Zeichen Al Yidei Acher. 100%. He could do that. He could do that. Yes. I don't know. Can he? I'm saying, can he do that?
100%.
Okay.
had
So
that.
then,
We
so
had
then
that.
that's a strong. So then it's a very strong tovas hanah that this guy's taking. In that scenario, the tovas hanah is worth a lot of money.
It's still not more than, it's still Tovas Hanah.
It's still tovas hanah, correct? But it's
Okay.
worth a lot. It's very hard to say that it's not mammon. Tovas hanah is not mammon. In that case.
Well, it depends what this means, Mammon or Ain't a Mammon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyways, okay. So the bottom line is there's a Machlokes. We have again. Let's back up again just to restart. So there's a stira from the first part of the Mishna to the last part of the Mishna whether tovas hanah is considered mammon or not. Meaning tovas hanah there definitely is. That's not a question. There is a tovas hanah. There is a benefit to the Yisrael to who we can give the trumas and ma'azu. That's not the Gemara's question. The Gemara's question is: it worth anything financially? Is it or is it not worth something financially? Right. So we're saying now that if a guy steals the tevel of somebody, he has to pay demei tivloi, according to Rebbe. He has to pay demei tivloi. Ran says it doesn't mean he has to pay the entire. Let's say again, using the example of 100 apples, of which 89, let's say, give or take, but 89 apples belong to the Yisrael, and 11 are going to the. It's more than 11, but let's say 11 are going to the kohanim and Leviim, right? So how much does this guy have to pay back? 89. He definitely doesn't have to pay back 100, according to the Ran now, even though the Gemara is going to change that soon. But right now, the Gemara is saying he only has to pay back 89 plus the tovas hanah. So that means that tovas hanah is mammon, according to Rebbe. Because otherwise, if it's not mammon, why does he have to pay it back? Right? That's one.
Does mammon mean it has a monetary value? Because I think everyone would agree it has monetary value. We had in Ksubas, a married woman sells a Ksubas. So it has a monetary value. Everyone is masking that the tovas hanah has a monetary value. The question is whether we consider that actualized or not.
Okay, however you want to say it. Correct, okay.
Okay, so it doesn't make a difference how much that is worth. The Ran could be including, in Rav Aaron's case, that tovas hanah could be worth the full $11 for all I care. It could be worth the whole thing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
The question is if it's actualized or not.
Yeah, meaning, but do we look at it like it's something tangible? Right?
Right.
It's a very good. So that's Rebbe. Rebbe holds it's tangible, it's mammon. He only has to pay back the chulin, the 89. Right? My lab ultimately, what's the Machlokes? Now we start today's daf. The Rebbe sover tovas hanah mammon. Rebbe must hold that tovas hanah is considered money. So therefore, the ganav has to pay back the tovas hanah to the Yisrael. Rabbi Yehuda sover tovas hanah ain't a mammon. He holds that tovas hanah is not money. Right? And that's l'chayra. So there's a machlokes about this. Right? So must be that the first part of the Mishnah is going like Rabbi Yehuda, and which is that there's tovas hanah is not money, and the second part of the Mishnah is going like Rebbe, right? Which I don't know why the Mefarshim don't jump on the Gemara saying what are you saying? One line is like one, and the next line mamish is a different shita, right? It's very interesting. The Gemara is saying, okay, we said one line in the Gemara. That's like Rabbi Yehuda. Next line, that's like Rebbe. And they're arguing with each other. right? Either way, the Gemara slugs it up. So then Gemara says,
But could it be because we in the first half of that Mishnah, we already had a split according to Abaye and Rav Nachman.
Right, could be.
It's a different kind of split, but it's completely different.
Yes, yeah, it could be. Maybe, okay, so you could also say it's Nedarim. That's why it
Yeah.
does that. Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it. Yeah.
Right, Akiva, that's
The Gemara didn't ask on Rav
Akiva.
Nachman. Rav Nachman said one's the ratios before Gerushin, the safest after Gerushin.
Right.
That was fine. That would usually be a kasha also. That's the Darim.
Yeah. So anyway, so Gemara says, like the Kuli Ama Tovas Hanah ain't no moment. Everybody holds Tovas Hanah is not moment. It's talking about matanas, racham, and this is what you were saying. Matanas shaloi hurmu. If you have matanas kahuna that were not separated yet, meaning we're talking about here that he did not yet separate. Till now, we're thinking that he stole the tevel, he stole the 100 apples, of which 11 of them were already marked off that they were trumas and maises. Now the Gemara is saying, no, they weren't even marked off, right? So you just stole 100 apples, but the guy says, by the way, you ate tevel, you stole tevel, which is a big chiyuv if you eat tevel, right? Because it wasn't separated. So the question is, do we say that there's an automatic separation here, right? It's matanas that were not separated, whether we consider that hormone, right? That's what the Machlokes is. Not whether tovas hanah is moment or not. So Gemara asks immediately, which I'm trying to understand what the havamina was. Be tovas hanah ain't a moment. If you say that tovas hanah is not money, which again we said it's not considered something tangible, the kickback is not considered anything tangible. Mali homu mali haloi homu. So then who cares if it was separated or not? He didn't take anything from the fellow, right? Meaning if you're saying tovas hanah is not money, so then who cares if he separated the truma? He didn't separate the truma. It's not negeya. It's not worth anything. It's not tangible. Why would he have to pay it back? So how could that be?
Aren't we forced to give to give it real value? The guy stole tevel, so it's asur ba'achila right now. So what did he steal? How can we give it its full value anyway? He stole $100,000 worth of wheat. It's worth $10.
Well, but you got away with it. He got away with it.
No, but we say either way, they both agree that you pay for all the chulin. There is no chulin now. You shouldn't pay for anything. So we're forced to say that you're giving it a value that it doesn't have. So once you're forced to say that you're giving it a value it doesn't have, give the tovas hanah value too. What's the difference?
And this is not hefker. This is not hefker, or something that has.
It's worse than hefker. No one in the world can eat
it.
this.
It has an isser on it, but it does have a possibility of becoming mutter. So therefore, it's not just something that is valueless. It is something has a tangible value. It just needs that tikkun.
I'm not disagreeing with that. As it is right now, it has no value. And I have to do something for it to gain value. Nevertheless, we're giving it right now the value that it would have after I did that process.
You're a shliach based in, you get paid $10 for every time you give the guy marcus. It's got really good value because this guy's going to be a chayiv malchus when eating tevel. So it's got value. That somebody's got value.
I have more than malchus. He's chayiv karis.
Okay, but malchus comes first.
Okay, so if you look at the Tosfos, it says like Rabbi Aaron is saying, Tosfos brings a Gemara in Kedushin that says maybe the tevel came to him from his grandfather. It's not exactly what you're saying, but similar. The Tosfos, the tovas hanah in the first column of the Tosfos on the bottom right, second Tosfos in, he brings from the Gemara in Kedushin. Maybe it's talking about a Yisrael, right? That the tevel came to him from his grandfather, his mother's father, who was a kohen, right? So, and therefore, it is worth something to him if it was separated, right? He could say to the guy, listen, this just trumas and maisus that were separated, whatever, that it came to me from my grandfather, right? Meaning he yashin the whole thing from his grandfather, right? Yes, yeah. So why doesn't the Gemara answer that same thing over here? Okay, whatever it is, it's complicated. This whole thing. Okay, so meanwhile the Gemara shlugs it up. Elahainu time of the Rebbe. Okay, that's the hard part. Now it gets a little easier, and then it gets harder again. Elahainu time of the Rebbe. So the reason why Rebbe holds that that he has to pay back the whole thing, even though part of it goes to the kohen and the Levi. We got a knas. Really, the guy doesn't have to pay. Again, using our example, he stole 100 apples, of which 11 were separated for the kohen and the Levi. So we're saying, really, he does not have to pay back to this Yisrael. He could say, listen, I got to pay it back to kohanim and Levim. I'll figure out who to give it back to, but it's not yours, right? However that works. But he's saying it's not yours. But now we're saying, no, there's a knas. Because we're not going to let this guy gain, which is what the Olam's saying. How you let this crook gain? Right? We make him not pay back 11 of the apples because of Trumas and Mises. So they made a knas. They made a knas that he shouldn't steal. Right?
Well, what's he gaining?
Doesn't the farmer have to take off now from the 90% he has left? Because it's still tevel to him.
Does he have to take off the? I don't know.
Wait,
Does
he
have
just
to
has money. He doesn't have any of the grain.
Well, no. What happens if we make the Ghana pay back the actual fruits?
Well, if he did Hashivaisa, so you return the whole thing.
Where does he have money from, Gershon?
The
Well,
Ghana has to pay.
Well, then we'll sell him as an Evid. We could sell him as an Evid.
No, the Ganef took his 11% of the guy's crop, right?
He took 100%, but
he took 11%, which the fellow was going to use that as his trumas and mises, but now his crop is only 89% of what it was, so he has to take now 8.9% and give it to the kohen and the Levi. He lost the 11%, and now he lost another 9%. Because he can't use the stuff
ratio
till he takes off whatever the ratio is. I'm not talking about the ratio. Doesn't matter the ratio.
He didn't lose anymore. That's what I'm saying. He didn't lose anymore.
He has to give trumas and maestris now. He didn't give
trumas and maestris by the Ghana.
He had 100% crop. The guy took 10%. Now I still have to give trumas and maestris, so I have to do it again.
No, because he only had to take off from 10%. So he only had to take off from 10% in that case. So it's only 1% that he's missing. Yeah. You're saying that the 10%.
I didn't do anything yet. I plowed my field. I have 100% of my stuff. This guy comes and takes 10% of my stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're telling me he doesn't have to pay it back to me because it's true. It's for the kohen and Levi. But now I have to take 10%.
No.
Steal.
What? How am I? Don't I have to give trumas and maestris now?
Yes. But he didn't steal the 10% that the guy was meyached with trumas and maestris.
Well, that's what the Ganef is going to say.
Oh, that the guy could say, listen, you stole my whole crop. You stole my whole crop. Whatever he stole, it's 10% of what he stole is the trumas and maestris. Not the whole thing, just 10% or whatever. 11%, 12%, a place of what he stole. Of what he stole. That's all. Not the whole thing.
It sounds like he's getting 2 kanasas. The Torah is kanas him kafel for the total amount, and now we're being moisif on that. Moisif on it, the amount that would have gone to kohanim Leviim.
That's another question. Is the kafel on the knas or not? Okay, we're going to. I can't say.
No, he's right. This has to be without the kefil.
Yes.
Otherwise, there's no deal of tovas hanah.
Let's go.
There's no kefil in this discussion.
Okay. Let's leave kefil out of this, please. Okay.
So what are we saying that the Ganef is gaining here, though?
Discussion over.
It's a different discussion.
Too bad. We got to do a little line of Gemara first.
Yeah, and Akiva's not even joining in on this one, but anyway,
this is the only interesting discussion, so I would have joined. This is that kefil part is the most geschmack thing we're discussing.
Said like a true accountant, but
no, the lum is the kefil, but whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so let's go back. So again, now we're saying that the reason why Rebbe says that the Ganav has to pay back the trumas and maestris is because it's a knas. Because we don't want a Ganav to gain. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda Savar, Kansur Rabbanan L'Balabayis. He said, no, we're going to give a knas to the owner, not to the crook. He shouldn't keep his tevel. Meaning, don't not keep it, but don't procrastinate, right? Don't push off taking off your tevel. If you're gonna push it off and somebody's gonna come steal it from you, then you're gonna lose out from your trumas and meiser. So you better take care of it quickly. Right?
How
So
is that
that's what the
possible?
Machlokes is based on. What?
They're arguing over what the status quo is. That means Rabbi Yehuda holds that what? Why does he need a knas? If Rebbe needs a
the other
knas,
way, Gershon, it's going the other way. If you hold, everyone agrees that a Torah side is mum. That's the way the Gemara is reading. It reads very funny, but yeah, it's the Gemara saying. And if they both hold that Torah is mum, so the reason why he holds you don't pay is because he knasses the other way, that you don't get it.
so why does the Rebbe need a knas?
Rebbe holds it's always a knas. Everyone holds it's a knas.
It's just going to make a knas that the
you
guy
don't need a
doesn't.
knas. It's tovas hanah. Tovas hanah you owe. If everyone holds tovas hanah, it exists as tovas hanah. So then everyone holds betzim you should get paid. Rebbe Yehuda holds you don't get paid because he knasses the baal bayis.
Yeah. Right.
It's missing
Either
a
way.
piece.
Yeah.
The Gemara is
No,
missing.
very good. No, that's fine. Yeah, very good. So anyway, so now bottom line is we're left back with the kasha. After this whole shakli v'tarya, we're back to our original kasha. There's a stira between the reisha and the seifa. In the reisha of the Mishnah, it sounds like tovas hanah is moment. And in the seifa, it sounds like tovas hanah is not moment. Right? Again, the reisha says that the kohen, if he makes a neder against all kohanim and leviim, they could come and take his trumas and meises. And the seifa says if he makes it on partial kohanim and leviim, then those guys can't come take it. Why not? If it's tovas hanah is not moment, they should be able to take it. So now Rava says shani truma is different, right? Meaning Rava's saying, he's saying that now we're saying that what do you call tovas hanah is moment, right? But truma is different. The hainu time of the yitlu al karchi. The reason why they're allowed to take the truma ba'al karchi, meaning against the owner's ratzon, the truma lechazi elu lekehanim, because truma is only meant for kehanim. And since he's coming and he's saying in the reisha, again, if we're saying that tovas hanah is moment, so the seifa makes sense, right? Right. So the question is the reisha. So the truma, the reason is because truma is only for kehanim. But keeping the kosi the misralayu, and since he's making his trumas and meises asur onto all kehanim, so now who's eating this food? Who's supposed to eat this fruit now? Again, you have the 100 apples. You got 11 of them that are trumas and meises, and he says a neder that no kehanim and leviim are allowed to have it. So now Yisrael can't have it, and leviim can't have it. So who can have it? Nobody. So Shavia Afra Ba'alma. So what he basically did is he turned these apples into dirt. Right? Once he turned it into dirt, it doesn't belong to him. It's dirt, it's meaningless, it's worthless. Right? There's a lumdisha thing here. Basically, even though the apples are sitting right here, but since he made them usher into the entire world, so it's dirt. So since it's dirt, it's no tovas hanah. Because you can't say that there's something tangible on dirt. Right? And he's the one that made this up. So therefore, any kind of Levi is allowed to take it. Right? But in the Seifa, where he only made it partially, only for some Kohanim and some Leviim, so then it's not dirt, because the Kohanim and Leviim, he didn't make the Neder against him. Come take it. Yeah, fine. Okay.
Can't he be paid to the Paris onto a coin or a bunch of coins? And then the Paris would be mutter for Achila for Yisrael.
I have no idea.
That would be, but where's my button?
I don't. Can he
That
do
would
that?
be that works with Maisa Shani. That works with Maisa Shani. It works with the Ravoy, but it doesn't work with Maisa Risha.
We do it today. We do it today with Trumas and Maestros also.
You paid it? You paid it? I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paid it.
The Pruta Chamura, you're talking about the Pruta Chamura? I thought that's also for. No, that's for Maisa Shani.
For everything. For everything.
Yeah.
Say Truma b'tzad tzvayna, Meister b'tzad.
Right.
Trumas Meister b'tzad d'rayma.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is to that. Okay, weiter. Zog the Mishna. Kohanim she'eni oisa al pi abba. we had this case before, or a similar case. Kohanim, right? She says a kohanim, she makes a neder that she's not gonna feed her father, right? She must have been in a real mood, this lady, right? She said, no, my father can't benefit from me, and my father-in-law, and not my brothers, not your brothers. So that's the neder she made. The husband cannot be made for the neder. Why? Because it's not beinoi leveino, because the neder was not made against her husband. The neder was made against her father, brother, father-in-law, and brother-in-law, right? And it's not considered inoi nefesh because that's only those 4 people she can't benefit from, but she can benefit from the rest of the world. So since this doesn't fit into any of those 2 categories, the husband cannot nullify the neder. That's fairly straightforward. She'eni, but then she makes a neder. She'eni also al picha. She says, but I'm not making a neder that I'm not going to give anything to my husband, to your mouth. Ain't it tzarach love? And then you don't even need to be made for. Why? Because she's not allowed to do that. She's mechuyev to feed her husband, right? So therefore, she cannot make it. She cannot make it also. Yeah, but that's the Tanakama. Rabbi Kiva Haimer Yofer Shema Tadif Alav Yosim and Aroila. Rabbi Kiva says no. You do have to be made. He could make for it. Why? Because she earns a lot more money than what she's mechuyev. Remember in Ksubis, she really only has to give 5 slayim. 5 slayim of weaving. Weaving? Yeah. 5 slayim of weaving a week. That's what she's mechuyev to give to her husband. After that, she could keep the money. Right? So Rabbi Kiva says, so the Tanakama holds she can't keep the extra money. So therefore they say he doesn't have to even be made for it. But Rabbi Kiva holds that the leftovers, the extra money, she could keep. Right? So therefore, the husband should be made for it. Otherwise, he cannot get hanah from his wife. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, a third sheet, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says he holds like the Tanakama, where the extras go to the husband. But Yofer, he should still be made for Shemi Yagarshena Utihi Asura Allah. Maybe eventually he's going to divorce his wife, and once he divorces his wife, then the neder will, if he's not made for the neder, then the neder is going to start, and then she's going to be also to him, and then he can't remarry her. Right? We had this a bunch of blot ago that we tried to prove from here that when a husband is mater neder, right? So then that works even after they get divorced, right? Because if a husband's mater his wife's nedarim and then gets divorced, does her nedarim come back? Right? So we wanted to prove from Yochanan ben Nuri that they don't come back. Otherwise, how is this going to help that he's made for the neder? Again, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri is saying he really gets to keep everything, but he should still be made for the neder. Why? Because if he's not made for the neder, what happens if he divorces her? Then the neder kicks in, right? Or the neder was there the whole time, but it just doesn't apply to the husband because she has a chiyuv to him, right? But when they get divorced, it becomes also for him to benefit from her, and then he can't remarry her. So therefore, he should be made for her. That's Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri's shita. Fine. So there's three opinions. When a woman makes a neder, she's not going to feed her husband. The Tanakama holds you don't even have to be made for it because she doesn't have the right to do that. She has a chiyuv to feed her husband. Rabbi Kiva says he should be made for it because the extra money she could keep herself, right? And therefore, if there's extra money, he would have to make sure that he doesn't benefit from it, right? And Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says no. He goes with the Tanakama that he really doesn't need to be made for it, but he should be made for it anyways, because if he divorces her, then the neder, then he's not going to be able to remarry her. Okay.
If he agreed to Rabbi Akiva, would he also still say this far?
Sounds like not. What do you need it for? If he gives Rabbi Akiva, then he'll be made for it. Otherwise, there's a risk of him benefiting from his wife from the extra money she earns or makes. No,
meaning he's already doing that far beforehand.
I'm assuming.
You're saying he's connected to her through this neder when he divorces her?
if he was not made for the neder,
Yeah.
then then there's a neder.
So
The
how's
neder is still
how's that a get? It's not a get.
It's not a get. No. He gives her a get stam.
It's not a get. If he's still connected to, how can you? That's not a get.
It's your kasha that you had. That's the
yeah,
kasha.
well,
Does that the same? Yeah, but does
I
that
guess
work
it's the same
here?
kasha.
No, does that work here? Does that work here? He's
If they still have a connection,
no. This
they're
is
not
no. This
divorced.
here it's opposite. Here's the opposite. Here he can't bend. She made a neder. She's not giving him hanah.
Right.
So Kolzman that they're married, she's mechuyev to give him hanah. Now they get divorced. Now she's totally cut off because she's not. Now it kicks in that she can't give him hanah. You were asking the other week. You were asking there was the opposite what he's giving to her. Here he's totally cut off. So then he won't be able to remarry her, which is not wild. Is that the chashash here? That's all you should be made for in case you wouldn't divorce her and then you're going to remarry her. Okay, but that's fine. So Zog the Gemara. Amar Shmuel halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Shmuel says halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Okay, so now the memra, the Kasavar Shmuel, and this is again one of my, I don't know, I have some PTSD on Davar Shalab al from, I don't know, somewhere deep in my past. Right, whenever I see this, and I start floundering in my brain. But let's see. Okay, Lemera the Kasavar Shmuel Adam Makdish Davar Shalab al. Does that mean if Shmuel, who says Paskins like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, so that means that Shmuel must hold that somebody can make Davar Shalab al into hektish. Let's just use a pasha the lashon. Pasha the mashal before we start with the sugya. Meaning, can a guy say that the fruit that's going to grow on my tree is going to be hektish before the fruit even grows, or before he even plants the tree? Right? Can that work? So we're saying it's mashmer from here that Shmuel holds that a person can be makdish davar shalab al. Why? Because a neder, right? When a neder has the equivalent of making something.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
But I don't know, Nach, but didn't Shimshon's parents make him Nazi before he was born, or they made him something before he was born?
But they said if they're going to have a baby, right? She said if she's going to have a baby, that she's going. I don't know if she made him hektish. Then they don't talk about it in the Gemara. I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, fine.
Somebody talks about it.
Did she make him hektish, or was it like a shvua?
That could be too.
Yeah. They actually made him hektish beforehand?
Was it before or was it?
Before she was pregnant, she made him hektish.
So then what's the pshat? Well, I guess you hold it.
He's not hektish.
You could hold it. You makdish davar shalab al, right? That's clearly what you're going to say. Right?
Well, the maskana isn't a dekel peiroisav. That's all that happens.
Okay, I don't know.
She's makdish herself for Shmuel. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so why is it mashmin our Mishna that by Shmuel saying Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri that a person be makdish davar shalab al? Because we said from the beginning of the Masechta that neder is the same thing as hektish. Right? She now made a neder that what she make a neder, anything that she's going to earn, she's not giving to her husband. She didn't earn it yet. Right? Yet you're saying that it's going to be also to the husband, even though she didn't earn it yet. So must be you hold that makdish davar shalab al. You could be makdish something that's not yet in existence. So Ramine, so as Kastira, hamakdish masi yedei ishtay, somebody who says that whatever work his wife does is becoming hektish. On Talmud Beis now, harezu oisav oichelas. She can ignore it. She can do her work, and she could eat it. Right? Now there's a whole tumah why that is. But this is going like the Mefarish here. Rashi says, that's going according to all opinions. The question is how exactly that works. It's talking about where he's supposed to feed her, not supposed to feed her. That's a whole tumult. But that's not the main part of the Bryce. But bottom line is a man stam says that any earnings that his wife has is going to make hektish. Doesn't work. But what about the extra money that she made on top of what she's supposed to give her husband? So Rameir says hektish. It's hektish, right? So and because the way the Mefarish says it here, because he holds that even though Maisi Adel, you can't be makdish, right? that it's mutter in exchange for her mezainis, right? Meaning he's supposed to give his wife a silver ma for money for her to spend in exchange for these five things that they weave, that she weaves, right? So here we're talking about where he can't give her that ma, so therefore she gets to keep the money, right? So when is it going to happen? It's all going to happen after he dies. Okay, whatever it is. The Rameya says it's hektish. He says, no, it's chulin. He cannot make it. He cannot make it into hektish. So you see that what's the Machlokes? V'amar Shmuel, well, before that, V'amar Shmuel, Allah Rabbi Yochanan a sandler. Shmuel holds, Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan a sandler, who obviously holds that this stuff is chulin, which means because it's a davar shalai b'laylam. She hasn't earned it yet. Alma ain't other makdish davar shalai b'laylam. A person cannot be makdish something that didn't come into the world. So it's a stira and Shmuel. Again, Shmuel in our Mishna saying the halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, and he's saying in this machlokes is over whether a man is allowed to be makdish the extra earnings of his wife. He passes like Rabbi Yochanan a sandler, who says that it's still chulin and it doesn't become hektish. So there, and Shmuel paskins like him. So that means he holds a person cannot be makdish something that wasn't in the world. So it's a stira and Shmuel. So then the Gemara tries to say a teretz. Maybe when he said Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, al hadafahu the gomer. Maybe he was just talking about the extra money, right? Maybe he's saying that the halach is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, that the extra money that the wife earns goes to the husband. But he wasn't talking about being matin nedarim or not making hektish. That he wasn't weighing in on that, right? Because that's stam machlokes is whether she gets to keep the extra earnings. So maybe that's what Shmuel was saying. He wasn't talking about the davar shalai b'laylam part. Maybe that's what it is, and therefore it's not a stira. Meaning, because maybe he would hold, like Rabbi Yochanan a sandler, that the husband keeps the extra earnings, but he does not hold like him that it won't become hektish. So maybe that's what it is. And where it says if that's the case, then he should have said Lema halach Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri b'hadafa. So why didn't he say that beferish? Shmuel just said Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan. He just said the halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan. I'm sorry. I've mixed up Rabbi Yochanan son and Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. I apologize. That's another Nedarim one. Yeah, so Allah Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri al hadavu. Maybe when he said that Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, he in our Mishnah he's only going on the extra, right? That Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri held that the extras go to the husband, but he wasn't talking about that davar shalai b'laylam. So then the Gemara says that can't be because Lema Allah Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri b'hadafa. Why did he say that? Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri by the extras that it gets to be kept by the husband. Inami, or he could have said, and there's some girsa issues here. Well, let's just go halacha Tanakama, or he should have just said Allah is like the Tanakama, not mention Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Inami, ain halacha Rabbi Kiva, or he should have said Allah is not like Rabbi Kiva. Why did he say it that Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri? Must be that he means to paskin like him all the way around, and therefore you can be makdish davar shalai b'laylam. So again, we're back to the stira in Shmuel. Does Shmuel hold davar shalai b'laylam or not? You can be makdish it or not. So El Omer Rabbi Yosef Shani kainamas is different. Hayil va'adam oisef peiros chaveri alav. Now we get into more lumdus here. Since a person can aser his friend's fruit on himself, he could also be aser something that's not yet in this world. So this is an interesting thing. Normally, you cannot go make a neder on somebody else's. I can't go say to Gershon, say I'm asering Gershon cigarettes on him, right? Gershon's going to tell me to fly a kite, rightfully so, right? He's going to say, you can't aser my cigarettes. But what I could do is I could say I am asering Gershon cigarettes onto me, right? Now, what right do I have to have any power over Gershon cigarettes onto me? Elamai, I do have some power on it, even though really his cigarettes have no shaykhs to me, but I have that power to say I'm not going to benefit from Gershon's cigarettes, right? So if that's the case, I also have the power to say that something that's not yet in the world, I'm making a neder, right? Because again, both of them are not under my power. So since they're both not under my power, so therefore I'm allowed to I'm allowed to do that. So that's what we're saying, that Nedarim is different than hektish, right? Because by Nedarim, you see that you do have some sort of power over things that don't necessarily belong to you. So therefore, you can, tovas also doesn't necessarily, is not under your power, yet it works. Yeah, fine. So then the Gemara asks, we understand that a person can go, I can go make the fruits of my friend osir on to me, meaning I can, using our example, I can say that Gershon cigarettes are also to me, because I have the power to tell Gershon Russell he can't have my cigarettes, right? Even though I have no power over Gershon Russell, right? But I can tell him he's not allowed to have my cigarettes, right? But can I go say that something in the future, the cigarettes that weren't yet created are osir on to Gershon Russell, right? I can't go say that Gershon Russell can't have his cigarettes, right? A lot of lumdus over here. So again,
wait, in other words, one side of the equation has to be under my power, either me or the Paris.
That's what Rav Yosef was saying. That, yeah, correct. But by in the case of the Mishna, who's the wife? The wife is saying her eventual earnings, which she doesn't have yet, are also onto her husband, who's not under her power, right? So that would not. How does that work? That's like me saying that I'm going to asser all future cigarettes onto Gershon when I don't own the cigarettes and I don't own Gershon, right? So the wife also, how are you going to say, how can she say that her earnings, which she doesn't own yet because she didn't earn it, is also onto her husband, who she doesn't even have a power to do that to, right? So you can't compare them. Elo Maravuna, Breder of Yeshua, by Meres, Yakachu Yadi saying, we had this in Ksuvas, where she didn't say that her future earnings are awesome. She said that her hands are hektish to the one who made them, right? Meaning she's saying that her hands are becoming usher to her husband. The Yadayim is because the hands are in this world. And she's not saying what these hands are going to create are usher to her husband. She's saying the hands themselves are usher to her husband. So therefore that's considered, that's something in this world. Right? So then the Gemara asks, if she says this, will they become hektish? Well, she doesn't own her own hands. Her hands belong to her husband. Right? How can she go make a neder on her hands if her hands belong to her husband, or at least the basic earnings of her hands? So Gemara answers, no, what she says is that when she gets divorced, she's making a neder that her hands will not provide any benefit to her husband, right? Yeah. So that's how the Gemara is saying it. So again, the maskanas of Gemara is that she's answering her hands to her husband after she gets divorced. So the Gemara asks, Hashtamiyas. I'm not exactly sure where to stop here because the sugya keeps going. Hashtamiyas lo megarsha. But the bottom line is she's not divorced now, right? So mimaydichi amra hachi mahanya. So how do you know that it helps? Meaning, she's not divorced. So how can you say that this hektish is going to help afterwards? On Toma Beis. So Amar Rav Ila. So Rav Ila said, Uma ilu. That's another one, Rabban, right there. Right? Rav Amar Rav Ila, Uma ilu. Yeah. Uma ilu Amar lechaveira. If somebody would tell his friends, Sadezu shani ma'ichalach, this field that I'm going to sell to you, when I take it back from you, taktish, I'm making it hektish. Miloi kitcha, is it not kaddish? Right? Meaning if I sell a field to somebody and then I say, by the way, I'm going to buy this field back from you when I get money, and then when I buy it back, I'm making it a hektish. Does that not make it a hektish? Right? So meaning, this is before he sold the guy's short on money, so he needs to sell his field. So he feels bad. So he says, okay, I'm selling you this field because I need the cash, but I'm going to buy it back from you. And when I buy it back from you, it's becoming automatic hektish. So right now the field is in his property. So he's making it hektish right now, right? But he's losing it because he's selling it. But then when he buys it back, it's becoming hektish, right? So then so Rav Ilah is saying the same thing. The woman, when she makes her hands hektish right now, right? She's making it hektish when she's going to get divorced, right? And the hands right now are under the husband, but when she's going to get her hands, she's saying when she gets her hands back, when she gets divorced, then they're going to become hektish, right? So basically, she has some power and she doesn't have. She has some power, but she doesn't have power because she's under her husband. Eventually, she won't be under her husband. So we're saying that that's the same thing of this guy who's selling the field. He's selling the field he's right now it's under his power, but he's losing the power, but he's going to gain back the power. And you still see that it's hektish. So that's basically what we're saying with the wife too. To which the Gemara is going to ask on this svara of Rav Ilah, but I guess we'll stop here. It's smack in the middle, but we don't really have much choice. It's late, and I think if the island's heads are not jelly already, then myself included. So yeah,
exact same figure. Is this the exact same tovas?
It's not exact. Some of it. The hands part was.
Well, the sugya that goes to the shaka tayrasa, no? Because I recall that the shaka tayra goes to all these different cases of buying a soda, bashkin. So what is this Gemara adding? It's literally the same sugya.
Yes, what it's adding is that we all forgot it, and therefore we have to review it.
Usually, this is another Nedarim thing. Usually, there's something Gemara adds when the Gemara goes to a similar shaka tayra.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. The truth is, I only remember part of the chakra tayra, not the whole thing, and I'm still having a hard time understanding it. So yeah. Anyways, all right. The Olam should have themselves a fine night. Anybody wants to stay on and fight this out a little more?
Do you ever terrace?
To Yukasha?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Should have asked the Olam Yukasha. Hold on. Yukasha was.
If she's not the Neder, she's not gonna have relations with anybody. Then she gets divorced. Then she gets remarried.
Hold on a second. Let me look it up here. Now that you say it, didn't we discuss it? Avrami was asking, right? If she makes a neder that she's going back in yesterday's daf. She makes a neder that she's not having relations with the whole world, except for her husband. And then she gets divorced, and then she gets remarried.
Sorry to interrupt, but I guess you answered the question because her husband, once she's getting married again.
No. So now I'm trying to think. Rabbi Yochanan, this plays into Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri's shita, right? This plays into Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri's.
The Ran does speak about it. It's totally the Machlokes should be Kivin Rishmal, he says. I think the Ran is 2 block back, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it 2 block back? Or?
It might even just be a block back. It's on the top of Pei Dalet and Aleph. I think, no?
That was on my base, but
it's La'achar Lamed Yoim. It's a long rod. I think he touches on this. I'm not sure. No, that might be a different run.
I thought it would play into whether the Neder gets nixed once they get divorced, right? Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is just.
But see, how are you able to Mekadesh your
whole
hands?
thing is just mamish making me. The what?
How are you ever able to be Mekadesh your hands? A human being can't be Kaddish.
A human being can't be Kaddish.
I can be a carbon.
Maisa Yadeh, I think she's just been saying on a Maisa Yadeh, she's.
But you can't say that. The Gemara says that won't work. It only works if you actually Mekadesh something that's tangible. So you're actually Mekadesh your dying?
Yeah, but I don't think she's not
What
being
is that like?
Mekadesh it.
Right stuff?
Is she being Mekadesh it to Hector? She's being Mekadesh it from her husband. No?
Well, I'm just saying. No, the Gemara talks about cases of hektish. The Gemara is being madam at the hektish, right? The cases of how so somebody's being makdish or actually dying.
No, I think she's being makdish it as a kohanim.
And if she wants to be makdish it as a yadayim hektish to hektish, if the husband wants to be makdish it doesn't
husband wants to be Mekadesh Yadayim? Her husband wants to be Mekadesh Yadayim?
Let's say the husband wants to be Mekadesh Yadayim, or the woman wants to be Mekadesh Yadayim. So that's the Machlokes of Rabbi Akiva and the Tanna Kama.
Correct.
So how is she? It's mashma that the way to do it would be to be Mekadesh actually Yadayim, no?
Yeah.
How? The Metzias.
I don't know. I'm saying she's
is a human being able to be Mekadesh themselves?
Well, that's called, what's it called? You want to call that's Erechin.
Erechin is not really being Mekadesh, making your actual body hektish. It's being mechayiv yourself mammon to the base of Migdash, but it's not being Mekadesh your Yadayim, your tangible Yadayim.
Right.
No?
Yeah.
So
I don't
how does
know,
that
my
work?
friend. I have no idea. I don't know.
Is there an idea of like Gufla Peraisa that it's not such a big deal to say that? Like I have no idea.
Well, tomorrow we're gonna say. What are we gonna say again tomorrow? The maskana is gonna be. Oh man. I don't remember now.
It's fine. We'll chazer ksubas.
Let me tell you. Yeah. What was it again?
It's like Kedushas Aguf, the Gemara says.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Right. Kedushas Haguf. It's not, Nedarim are looked at as Kedushas Haguf, not Kedushas.
But that's
Does
Neder.
that answer it? Right. So okay, I don't know how it would work with hektish. I don't think it means to work with hektish.
All right.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right. Good night, everyone. Anyways. All right.
Kaya.
Yeah. All right. Have yourselves a fine night.
Too.
Yeah.
You want a visitor for a minute?
Oh no. Who?